Thank you very much for joining us for the midday news. To present it, my name is Marco Kozi. Let's take a look at the stories making the headlines. Displaced street vendors urge government to quickly open Simon Mwewa Lane markets. The Bank of Zambia urged to invest in cyber security. And in international news, fighting in Sudan enters the 100th day. In sports news, Copper Queens ready for the Spain encounter. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
Hey, join me, Amazing Katamanda, on the Weekly Gospel Show for those exciting and interesting interviews with your favorite gospel
Hold on to me when it's too dark to see. You cannot put your power back to war.
Hallelujah.
And this time around, we are bringing to you entertainment news and the counter, as you guys are able to nominate your top 3 favorite music videos of the week. Remember, it's every Saturday at 10:45. You can also catch repeats every Monday at 10 hours. Camnet TV is not just another time.
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. Bus drivers operating from Kulima Tower bus station have revealed that business has boomed following the removal of those who were contravening in Lusaka Central Business District. The drivers told Camnet News that passengers have now been forced to board buses from the designated places. They say police must continue to maintain law and order in the streets of Lusaka and ensure that there is no bus driver operating from the streets in order to stamp out contravening permanently. Here's a report.
Drivers operating at Lusaka's Lima Tower bus station have dispelled assertions that police officers manning the streets are harassing them. The drivers have instead told this reporter that since the police officers were stationed in the Central Business District, CBD, their business is booming as all customers are coming into the station. Mr. Nicholas Banda is the chairperson for the drivers in Lima Tower bus station.
One pamene town yakiliniwa sangana business for mostly business ya Lima Tower never ended down, but this time Lima Tower tina business. That's number one. Number two, tufoka baba pali wa polisi amene
other drivers have also echoed similar sentiments, further calling on their colleagues operating from undesignated places to come into the station.
Otherwise, in Ankara Mulod for a long time. And my benefit Mulod is na pays. So, for many much police, Bachari Jagati, Costells and Abunaboga. And to end up station branch, Patamandev. So Patamandev, wanaita ukamba, chairman.
Okay, munga banzato napishwa Mulodi. Mugangala Kulima Tower, Mugangala City Market, Mugangala Lumumba, then a flash, especially flash, Millennium Flash, it is empty. Tingaende mastation, kuna Kulima Tower, osa walina. Isema drivers wonse buli hapa. Imwe umusenza moto guys bwerani.
So nangwanza twa jotes na bebe Mulodi kwa Mulodi nasebenzera. Bajanza twali Mulodi. Baleke china kuvutika kusakira abantu Mulodi. Bazambo biriwa na police. Kwa police beva konkala mu. So bajantu abwele che mu station cyambe kusebenzera pamozi muona ma places yaliko. Pali post pe waenda mu Lima Tower peruti kuli leadership. And then put kuli na leadership yonse ya Lima Tower yonse. Ya ba father ba Nicholas Band.
Meanwhile, Lima Tower bus Drivers General Secretary Crispin Zapasi has distanced the group from a driver who accused police officers of harassment.
There are some other drivers and other people who are complaining when the police they told them to say where you have parked is a wrong place, one park somewhere else. You find that there is a quarrel, like a certain driver who complained yesterday. Yeah, he was told to say where you have parked is a wrong place, one park at another place. So because he doesn't want to follow the rules and laws which he has been given by the police. This is the reason why he's going on the media saying laws, sort of things. But we are happy with the police. And
for Camnet News, Afias Kaptula in Lusaka.
And in a related incident, some vendors who were displaced from the Central Business District, CBD, are calling on government to quickly open the Simon Mwewa market, claiming that there is no space in a city market. The visibly angry traders who were found displaced at Simon Mwewa market, where they have set base awaiting for the opening of the market, told Camnet News that their lives have become unbearable and government needs to open the facility quickly. When contacted for a comment, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary, Technical Services, Nicholas Piri, says the market will open as soon as construction works are completed.
Government yana wanatipasa street ya Simon Mwewaleni. Wanakambatika sikurisirani uku Sifra street vending.
Tempers were blazing after these women were displaced from this area in front of Simon Mwewa Market following their displacement from the streets. This reporter arrived on the scene shortly after a fracas which was believed to have been caused by a scuffle for trading spaces around Simpson Building, and police officers were called in to defuse the tension. They said nearby fracas resulted in these women claiming to harbor here due to lack of spaces in markets to be displaced again.
City market tikangena vachipeleka apa pastandi vapezeka pari mwine vapate vamanager wa city market vakungopeka che vantu vakabata basa vantu 800 ni mastandi ati ni bosa.
The aggrieved women are now calling on government to quickly open Simon Mwewa Market as life of loitering has become unbearable.
Na manja showing kuti unalipira ini certificate na nalipira na manja ndio amezaka ningenesa mama na apply siku city market kama na apply why na zipeza ku city market na babada tusunga bana amasi atake mu city market mwamene watipeleka muri bene bake bakatipeleka mwina wakanyamunga titilipano tizaenda kuti babwele batsekulire malata kuti tantike tizatiza bwanji bana zona izmasadirite mubapelekere baiteje.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary, Technical Services Nicholas Piri says Simon Mwewa Market will be opened as soon as works are completed. Mr. Piri says government will give a timeline once an assessment of ongoing construction works is done. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula in Lusaka.
Goodwill Ambassador for Persons with Cross-Cutting Disabilities, Elijah Ngwale, has bemoaned the lack of information among persons with disabilities on how to access the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Mr. Ngwale notes that it is difficult for persons with hearing impairment to understand the CDF guidelines as there is no sign language provided to interpret the content. He feels persons with disabilities are excluded, hence the need to make an approach inclusive to ensure that no one remains behind in the implementation of CDF. Here's a report.
Although persons with disabilities are eligible to benefit from various empowerments under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, concerns have arisen from poor dissemination of information on the guidelines. Goodwill Ambassador for Persons with Disabilities, Elijah Ngwale, highlights the need for the government to interpret the contents of the CDF guidelines in order for persons with hearing impairments to understand the guidelines and have a chance to access the funds.
Accessibility by persons with abilities of CDF. You know, any project that you have must have this. accessibility, availability, affordability, and acceptability. One, is it accessible? Is CDF accessible by us persons with abilities? I could nakedly but not nudely say no to a large extent. It's too difficult, if not impossible, for us to access it. Is it available? Well, if we can't access it, it's not available. The other one is dissemination of information vis-a-vis CDF to persons with abilities. Information is not disseminated. You have, for example, how do deaf people get information? Persons with disabilities are being excluded from CDF program to a very large extent.
On the other hand, Mr. Ngwale has encouraged persons with disabilities and have information on how to apply to do so and benefit from the empowerment.
You persons with disabilities must fight, must read and fight for your rights. That's the first thing. Now, appeal, I'm not going to appeal, because when I appeal, it means that I'm pleading with them. I'm not going to plead with them. I'm going to demand from the authorities, from the president up to the last authority, government, include us persons with the disabilities, of course, and the organizations of persons with disabilities. Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities is mentioned here and there. You include disseminating from
Vincent Piri for Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Zambian Cyber Security Initiative Foundation has advised the Bank of Zambia to invest in cyber security. Reacting to the reported hacking of the Bank of Zambia Facebook page, Foundation President John Chisenki says the central bank must consider training its Facebook page managers to avoid what he termed as unfortunate occurrence from happening again. Earlier yesterday, social media went awash after the Facebook page belonging to the Bank of Zambia got hacked. Central Bank Assistant Director Communications, Besnat Mwanza, confirmed the development. Here's a report.
The least one could ever imagined of just happened, the Facebook page belonging to Zambia's central bank being hacked. A check by Camnet TV News on the said page revealed that the profile picture and the cover photo were all changed. This received mixed reactions from many Facebook users. Meanwhile, Bank of Zambia Assistant Director Communications, Besnat Mwanza, confirmed the incident in a statement, saying the bank is making every effort to ensure that the platform is restored to full functionality. Reacting to this development, Zambia Cyber Security Initiative Foundation President John Chisenki challenged the central bank to invest in cyber security for its social media platforms.
Bank of Zambia has already had another incident of hacking, I think sometime last year in February, where there was a ransomware was unleashed at their servers, and I think that's in the public domain, of course. And now we have this. So what's happening in Bank of Zambia, I think, should be the question: who is careless in the system? Do these staff at the bank go through cybersecurity trainings to acquaint themselves with best practices to, because if we have to protect our digital assets, we need to equip the people that use the assets before talking about security. Because human resource is the first in the line of defense, and if we don't educate the human resource on best practices, we risk like what has just happened at Bank of Zambia. So then what are we trying to say? They are supposed to be chief security measures implemented at the human resource level by the cybersecurity experts at the bank.
This is not the first time, as the central bank last year experienced a technical outage resulting from a cyber attack. Vincent Piri for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambian government is exploring the possibilities of adopting the concept of sub-national revenue bonds as a financing solution for local development. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary Administration Mambo Hamaundu says it is imperative to explore alternative sources of financing for local governments. Mr. Hamaundu says the sub-national bonds can be utilized to help drive national aspirations to become the preferred destination for sustainable investment as a green investment hub. Here is a report.
The Securities and Exchange Commission and the United Nations Capital Development Fund co-hosted a national stakeholders workshop in Lusaka Monday to explore the potential of the sub-revenue bonds as a financing solution for local development. According to the Auditor General's 2022 report, 60 councils audited required a total of 4.2 billion kwacha for them to fulfill their mandate, but only 2.8 billion was funded, representing 68% of the required funding if local authorities were to meet their mandates of service delivery. Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary Administration Mambo Hamaundu says sub-national bonds can be utilized to drive the national aspiration to become a preferred destination for sustainable investment as a global green investment hub.
I'm happy to say that we have an opportunity to have a special purpose vehicle which can be utilized to drive an agenda. What is critical and what is key is what we are working on behind the scenes, develop guidelines where you, the principal officers who are present here, you, the technical staff, can use as a guide as we put together a package which will enable this collaboration with UNCDF, with the aid of people from the private sector, to actually translate into improving the lives of the people.
During the meeting, it was observed that countries like Tanzania are already implementing the initiative to drive development in communities. The DOA Program of Action for the Least Developed Countries 2031 emphasizes the need to mobilize financial resources, both public and private, to support sustainable development. But the question is, could this be part of the solution? For now, we can only wait and see as discussions on the matter continue to unfold. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Lusaka Magistrates Court has ordered the recall of Chief Mugoni of the Southern Province, the second prosecution witness who had earlier testified in a criminal trial of Economic and Equity Party leader Chirufya Tayali. Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya has given a go-ahead to the application made by the accused on Monday, the 24th of July, 2023. Mr. Tayari, who is accused of harassing the traditional leader in 2022, made the application after the state amended his charge sheet. This is in a case in which Mr. Tayari is accused of harassing Chief Mugoni through social media by alleging that he planned the gassing incident with a view to have President Hakainde Hichilema, when he was still in the opposition, released from prison. Here's a report.
Outspoken politician Chirufya Tayali has been forced to retake plea in his criminal trial after the prosecution made some amendments to the offense he is facing before the courts of law. The amended charge has seen the prosecution remove the word senior from the particulars of the offense, a move that left the defense Monday morning, the 24th of July 2023, object on the basis that amending at such a stage is likely to prejudice the accused. However, this objection has been overruled by the court. Mr. Tayali was the leader of Economic and Equity Party, is standing trial before Lusaka Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya for accusing Chief Mugoni of Southern Province of being behind the gassing incident between 2019 and 2020 for the purpose of getting then opposition UPND President Hakainde Hichilema out of prison. After taking his plea this morning, Mr. Tali applied through his lawyers that the court compels Chief Mukuni of Southern Province, who was the second prosecution witness to be recalled for cross-examination. According to the previous charge sheet, Mr. Tali is alleged to have made the accusation toward the senior Chief Mukuni. However, a state witness, James Chileshe, an assistant director in charge of chief affairs at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court this morning during cross-examination that the title of Senior Chief Mukuni does not exist. Mr. Chileshe explained in his testimony that Chief Mukuni of Southern Province in Kazungula District does not hold the title of Senior. In this matter, Mr. Tali stands charged with an offense of harassment using electronic communication contrary to the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act No. 2 of 2021. In the previous court session, Chief Mukuni testified that he was mentally stressed to be accused of masterminding the gassing cases. He claimed since the accusations were made, his safety has been compromised. During his testimony, the traditional leader had also refused holding the title of a senior chief. The matter has been adjourned to the 14th of August 2023. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A defense witness has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that his role was to package the news gathered from Patriotic Front Information Chairperson Raphael Nakachinda in 2021. Logic Lukwanda, a journalist by profession, told Magistrate Irene Washimanga that he can neither confirm nor deny that Mr. Nakachinda alleged that the president was summoning judges at his private residence. This is in a matter in which Mr. Nakachinda accused President Hakainde Hichilema in 2021 of summoning judges at his residence in order to compel them to frustrate PF in their legal battles. Here's a report.
Opposition Patriotic Front Information and Publicity Chairperson Raphael Nakachinda has continued with his defense in a matter he's accused of defaming the president before the Lusaka Magistrate Court, with Monday morning, the 24th of July 2023, presenting Logic Lukwanda, a journalist from Prime Television, as one of his witnesses. Mr. Nakachinda, who commenced his defense in May 2023 after he was found with a case to answer, says he will present 2 more witnesses to support his defense. Senior journalist Mr. Lukwanda told the Lusaka Magistrate Court this morning that his role was to package the news gathered from Patriotic Front Information and Publicity Chairperson Mr. Nakachinda in 2021. According to him, he was working under a different media institution at the time the offense is alleged to have occurred. During his cross-examination, the witness told court that he can neither confirm nor deny that Mr. Nakachinda alleged that the president was summoning judges at his private residence. Charges before court alleges that Mr. Nakachinda on the 13th of December 2021 accused President Hakainde Hichilema of summoning judges at his residence in order to compel them to frustrate PF legal battles. However, in the previous court session, the accused told Magistrate Irene Washimanga that being the opposition party spokesperson, he is mandated to offer checks and balances to the current administration, and it was within that background that he uttered the said words at the Lusaka High Court ground. In his further defense, Mr. Nakachinda had claimed that his statement was misunderstood because he meant that the president was attempting to start summoning judges and not that he had already started. The accused, who was highly convinced that the duty of the opposition political parties in the country is to offer checks and balances to those in government, wondered why the 3 members of the ruling UPND who filed a complaint against him had gone ahead to drag him to court on issues that needed to be resolved politically. The case continues on the 28th of July 2023. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
On that note, we break for some commercials. We have more in international sports news. Don't go away.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. In international news, there have been 100 days of fighting in Sudan, and the conflict has wrought a devastating human toll, reigniting ethnic violence and sparking fears it would destabilize the wider region. On April the 15th, a rivalry between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces exploded into war, turning Khartoum and wider areas of the capital into a bloody battlefield. Since then, fighting has also spread to the conflicting Wari Darfur region, as well as parts of Kordofan and Blue Nile states. Now we give you some international news in the following roundup.
War in Sudan between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces has entered its 100th day, with no side so far having been able to achieve a major and decisive victory over the other, and with huge humanitarian consequences. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled from the capital Khartoum alone, seeking refuge in neighboring states or neighboring countries, as the two warring sides battled each other in residential neighborhoods here in the capital Khartoum. Homes and properties have been destroyed as the two sides exchanged gunfire and heavy artillery, and due to airstrikes being launched by the Sudanese army. Markets and factories that used to supply the entire nation have been burned to the ground, leading to a humanitarian crisis and to a food crisis in the country. Now, the war has also spread to other parts of the country, including the fragile western region of Darfur. In Jenaina, in West Darfur, hundreds of thousands of people have fled to neighboring Chad as militias allied to the paramilitary rapid support forces targeted people based on their ethnicities, according to accounts of refugees who arrived in Chad fleeing from the violence in Jenaina in West Darfur. The United Nations says at least 3,000 people have been killed since the start of the fighting and more than 3 million people displaced. But it also says that that figure is likely an undercount of the real number of those who've been killed and those who fled from the fighting here in Khartoum. Now, diplomatic efforts have been made to try to get the two warring sides to end the fighting, but so far that has failed to achieve any concrete end.
These Israeli reservists are adding their names to a declaration that says they'll no longer report for active duty in protest against the government's proposed judicial changes. They're among a growing number of pilots, soldiers and intelligence officers who say they're acting on principle.
I came here today to sign to convey the message that I will not serve a dictator, I will not serve in a dictatorship. I'm here to say that my kids won't grow up in a dictatorship, in a place that abolishes the basic human rights of equality.
Military service is compulsory for most Jewish men and women above the age of 18, and many volunteer for reserve duty well into their 40s. Reservists reinforce the regular army, navy and air force. In an emergency, Israel can order its entire reserve force, numbering more than 400,000, to report for duty. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the government will not tolerate insubordination.
Refusal to serve puts the security of all Israeli citizens at risk. The government will not accept refusal. The government will act against it and will take all necessary steps to ensure our security and our future.
Hundreds of Israeli reserve pilots first joined the demonstrations against the government in March by refusing to report for duty. Last week, 400 more announced similar action alongside air traffic controllers and drone operators. Commentators say it's significant because the Air Force is largely made up of the Israeli elite.
The protest of the army officers, but mainly the pilots, is almost a game changer and might stop the legislation. It's not only that they are pilots, but usually they come from the well-off social classes, from the right places, from the right ethnic origin, and they are quite powerful.
Protests against the government's plans to change the legal system show no signs of slowing down. Israel's army chief has warned Netanyahu his proposed changes could affect the readiness of the army.
In sports news, Copper Queens striker Rachel Kundananji has said that Zambia is ready for Spain ahead of Wednesday's encounter in Zambia's second game at the FIFA Women's 20 World Cup 2023. Zamfoot reports that Kundananji, who plays her club football with Madrid CFF, said that Zambia will play its game in the match against Spain compared to how they played against Japan. Kundananji attributed Zambia's loss to Japan to nerves among players, probably because it was their first time at the World Cup. She also said that the team lacked confidence. However, Kundananji said the team is looking forward to the Spain encounter and urged fans to continue supporting the team. Zambia will face Spain on Wednesday at 9:30 hours Central African Time. On that note, we come to the end of the midday news, but before we go, another look at the stories that made the headlines. Displaced street vendors urge government to quickly open Simon Mwewa Lane Market. The Bank of Zambia urged to invest in cyber security. And in international news, a fighting in Sudan enters a 100th day. And in sports news, Copper Queens ready for the Spain encounter. And now we look at the Camnet verse of the day, which comes from the book of Psalms chapter 30, verse 2, and it reads, Lord, my God, I called to you for help and you healed me. That's it. That's all we had for the news at 12. But don't go away, because up next is a nutrition corner on the Lunchtime Cafe.
Chama. I'm the acting head of Nutrition, Education and Communication Unit coming from the National Food and Nutrition Commission. Like I said yesterday, we are continuing on the same topic that we had, dietary diversity. And we have defined what dietary diversity is, and we said that it's the number of food items that you consume from different food groups. For Zambia, we have 6, which we mentioned yesterday. And now today, we want to know why it is important for us to eat different foods from the 6 food groups. So this is the reason why the food has been actually grouped into different food groups. First of all, just to give you the idea of how the food groups came about. We know that in Zambia, like I said yesterday, different foods, they belong to different food groups. And there is no one food that has all the nutrients in one. So in Zambia, we realize that there are certain foods that have been neglected, and we consume them very little a good example of fruits. Another example of the milks. So these foods, now as Zambia, we decided we have to put them as a group, so that if you miss, you haven't eaten anything in that group, then it means your diet, it's not quality. So I will say that we all know that consuming a variety of foods actually helps us to have a quality diet, which will support the nutrition and health of the population, even at individual level. Actually, consumption of food starts at the individual level. When we start now trying to see how we are faring with the nutrition status, then we go at the population level. And that's why we are promoting the consumption of food at household level, because that's where the individuals are. So why the importance? We are saying that by eating a variety of foods, we are more likely to get different types of nutrients that are key for the growth and development and maintenance of our bodies. You find that certain foods like the group of fruits and the group of food group of vegetables, we have certain benefits, essential benefits that we get from there. We do have phytochemicals. We also have oxidants in them. These are just terminologies, of course, from the scientific point of view, but these are chemicals that help to keep the body healthy. You'll find that, like if you talk of phytochemicals, these phytochemicals, they help to prevent nutrient deficiencies and also chronic diseases like cancer. So such type of chemicals, they are only found in vegetable group and also in fruit food groups. So the two food groups, actually, they've got the uniqueness in them, where you find that there's those chemicals, oxidants, which will actually clean out your body and try to protect your body from being damaged by other byproducts in the body. So the fruits and vegetables, these two food groups, they have that unique property in trying to protect your body from other harmful byproducts out of metabolism that might occur in your body. But if you are consuming such type of foods, then you know that you are protected from the body being damaged. And the food that you are eating, it will be actually much help to your body. So I would say that, like I earlier indicated, there's no one food that has all the nutrients in one. So the different food groups, they complement each other. If we are talking of the food groups, we look at maybe the dairy and dairy products. The dairy and dairy products, of course, you also benefit some energy in there. We know that there's lactose, like if you talk of in certain milks, you'll find there's this type of a sugar in a milk that gives that sweet taste. It gives you the energy, but the amount of energy that is found in the foods that are available in this food group, it's quite, it does not meet the body requirement. So the amount are insignificant for you to run with to meet actually the body requirement. Hence the need now to have a food from a different food group, which is the cereals, starch roots and tubers, that group. That's where you find the foods that are very much rich in carbohydrates. So in certain groups, you'll find that foods are there and certain nutrients might be found in that group. But the thing is, the amount of certain nutrients are insignificant. They are quite minor to meet the body requirement. So as we are eating the food from different food groups, one, we have to ensure that we have taken food from all the 6 food groups in 24 hours. And apart from that, we need, again, to ensure that the amounts, the quantities, they are adequate to meet the body requirements. This actually will help us much more, and we'll be able to actually ensure that what we are eating, it's something that the body is going to benefit from. So the importance, like I said, of consuming a variety of foods, actually, apart from the body benefiting, you are also protecting the body from suffering from deficiencies. There are those nutritional deficiencies that we have. And apart from that, there are those other diseases that we may have, like diabetes. Overconsumption of certain foods actually might result in one developing certain diseases, like hypertension, like diabetes. So we are saying that we need to eat food in adequate amounts. I will still echo that there is no one food or one food group which supplies all the nutrients to meet your daily energy or nutrient requirement. Hence, the human body needs more foods, more from different type of food groups. Like I said, in Zambia, we looked at the vegetables, we looked at the fruits, and we separated them. Previously, we combined them to say this group is fruits and vegetables. But we found that a lot of people eat vegetables which were not even adequate, and then they neglect the fruit part. So we have separated this. So we remember that if I haven't eaten any fruit in 24 hours, my diet is not quality. If I haven't consumed any milk or milk products within 24 hours, then I should get concerned of my diet. If I haven't consumed any animal protein, I should be concerned that my diet. When we talk of animal protein, it includes insects, like I said yesterday. It includes the insects, it includes the caterpillars. So all these, if you have access to such type of animal protein, then you need to consume them to complement the diet and ensure that your diet actually it's quality. So a person's nutrition status depends actually mostly on overall to balance the amounts of food eaten from all the 6 food groups. Otherwise, if we just eat the food as usual, sometimes, it's unfortunate people, they go on a diet where I'll just give a scenario where one is taking the popcorns and then you take some fizzy drink, and this person now will even have a sweet, which maybe even a chewing gum, so that probably this person wants to reduce weight. But if you look at these 3 foods that they've taken, all of them, they are just giving energy to the body, mostly and chiefly. The other nutrients which are there, like for the popcorn, you find that there will be fiber, but that fiber is quite negligible. So what we are saying is that we need to balance. We ensure, since we have learned, if we are talking about the 6 food groups, let's also look at the legumes, pulses, and nuts. Have I eaten any groundnuts? Did I have any beans over lunch? Or did I consume anything in this group that I can say I've consumed? So there's need for us as Zambians to look at these tips. They are quite important consumption of a variety of foods that we need to eat to keep our body in health and better nutrition status. So basically, when you talk of dietary diversity, the role is to ensure that we prevent all the deficiencies that we might have, and then we keep our bodies in good, healthy and nutrition status. So this is what I can say with regard to the tips and the importance of why we should eat a variety of foods. It's for the reason that we have to keep our bodies in good health status, and also to ensure that our diet is quality. It's not just eating the food as usual, but we ensure, because even if you eat one food, there's no one food that has all the nutrients in one. So hence, to have the variety of foods from all the 6 food groups, then you'll be assured in right quantities, then you'll be assured that what you are eating has all the nutrients that you need.
Hey, join me, Amazing Katamanda, on the weekly gospel show for those exciting and interesting interviews with your favorite gospel
Hold on to me when it's too dark to see. You cannot put your power back to war.
Hallelujah. And this time around, we are bringing to you entertainment news and the countdown, as you guys are able to nominate your top 3 favorite music videos of the week. Remember, it's every Saturday at 10:45. You can also catch repeats every Monday at 10 hours. Camnet TV is not just another time.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Akora kansheko alakula chancha mukero kula chekerera ucho mwana nani nanga nyama butuka uwinge wo munanga tikasambe nani ingata wishire pekeni twiposhe bana fia sasa ushe umwana nani na ingana babutuka uwinge wo munanga tikasambe nani mwe ipisha ina shenya bo mwikere nabo.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kids show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamagazagia, to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Thank you very much. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Lunchtime Cafe. My name is Marco Kwakoze. Now, we were just looking at the Nutrition Corner, where we give you advice on what you should be eating and what you should not be eating, and the quantities of what you should be eating. So that is the Nutrition Corner there. We get straight into the next segment. Now, this segment is called the Emerging Stories. Now, in this segment, we give you stories that are making the headlines, stories that are currently happening as our reporters are on the ground, giving us these stories. So we quickly rush into the first story, which says a Copperbelt-based clergyman says government through the Ministry of Mines should honor its promise of handing over KCM back to Vendetta Resources this week. Now, Pastor Charles Chilensha of Christ My Life Ministries of Kitwe is also urging the government to announce the deal concerning Mopani copper mines. He notes that UPND government will gain political mileage if they successfully find a partner to run Mopani copper mines, as well as giving Konkola copper mines back to Vendetta Resources. Now, Pastor Chilensha says the UPND administration will gain the people's confidence, saying the mining sector ought to be revamped. Let's have a look at this.
Commend the incumbent government for making such a categorical commitment by promising that by the 31st of July, they will have concluded the deal with the would-be investor at Mopani Copper Mines PLC, as well as probably bringing back Vendetta Resources to KCM to take over their 80% shareholding. With the unlocking of the mines, and when the government, as they have promised, will have given back the mines, the KCM to Vendetta, as well as unlocking Mopani Copper Mines to full operation, we will see businesses, will see life on the copper belt. We will see a lot of activity on the copper belt, poverty levels dwindling and declining. We are also going to see many suppliers, many contractors. We'll see many more people employed. We are going to see a lot of peace reigning on the copper belt. As well, we are going to see the UPND government having a lot of political mileage, and a lot of confidence is going to actually go in by the UPND. They will get a lot of confidence from the College of Voters, as well as from the populace. The people of the copper belt will have a lot of confidence in the government of the day.
So that's the story they are talking about, KCM and Mopani. Pastor Chilensha advising government to make sure that they find another partner for Mopani copper mines. Moving on, the Zambia Free Press Initiative, FPI, has condemned the alleged assault and spitting on a Times of Zambia journalist, Henry Chunza, by Chienge Member of Parliament, Ms. Given Katuta. FBI founder and executive director Joan Chirwa says the behavior by Ms. Katuta is regrettable, especially that every member of parliament is expected to have some level of knowledge about the work of journalists. After being suspended from parliament by the Speaker of the National Assembly on Friday last week, Ms. Katuta attempted to grab a camera from the journalist when he took pictures of her as she was coming out of the house and in the process spat on him. Let's have a look at this.
That she was in a space where a journalist was and they're allowed to take photos, that meant that the journalist was supposed to do their work properly. And in fact, the nature of the assignment itself, where she was told to walk out of the house, is newsworthy such that any journalist that has nose for news cannot miss such an opportunity to take very good pictures of the Honorable MP. I'm not too sure if I should even use the word honorable in this respect, especially that the conduct of this particular member of parliament is totally dishonorable, because you do not expect anything like that from a member of parliament for that matter. We expect her, like every other member of parliament, to understand the role of journalists and accord them the respect that they deserve whenever they are doing their work. What happened is totally regrettable, and the least we expect from her is actually an apology.
So that is about Honorable Katuta, who did assault a journalist at Parliament buildings. Let's move on. Let's quickly get to sports now. Government, through the Ministry of Sports, has acquired new football boots for the Copper Queens as they prepare to take on Spain in their second match at the ongoing FIFA Women's World Cup in New Zealand. Zambia's High Commissioner to New Zealand, Elias Munsha, delivered the boots to the team. Now, the Copper Queens lost their opening match at the tournament by 5-0 to Japan. The Copper Queens complained to Sports Minister Elvis Nkando about the boots that they used in the game against Japan. Let's quickly have a look at this.
All right, so the people of Zambia, through their government, the government of the Republic of Zambia, the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Art, has acquired the necessary boots that are needed in order for the Copper Queens to perform as expected. And so these are the boots that have been purchased for the Copper Queens. As you can see, it's not that the Copper Queens did not have boots, but rather that we need to have as many choices as possible, and this particular choice has been purchased as a result of the government intervening and ensuring that we have this particular choice alternative depending on the turf or the ground that the Copper Queens will be playing. And so we have officials from the Ministry of Sport here and officials from the Football Association of Zambia, and today we have responded as a government on time in order to ensure that this particular alternative is there for our team. It's not only boots, but several other things that are needed, several other personal equipment that is needed for us to deliver a victory. We are very, very excited that with this it will be a morale booster for our team. And so I'm handing over these to our delegation leader.
Your Excellency, on behalf of the FA and indeed the Ministry of Sports, I would want to say thank you so much through you to the government that indeed we receive this with both hands, and I know this will be a morale booster to the girls, and knowing our girls with this, I think they'll be able to do their job like you could have indicated. So we say thank you so much.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hey, join me, Amazing Katamanda, on the weekly gospel show for those exciting and interesting interviews with your favorite gospel
Hold on to me when it's too dark to see. You cannot put your power back to war.
Hallelujah. And this time around, we are bringing to you entertainment news and the countdown, as you guys are able to nominate your top 3 favorite music videos of the week. Remember, it's every Saturday at 10:45. You can also catch repeats every Monday at 10 hours. Camnet TV is not just another time.
Thank you very much. This is the Lunch Time Cafe on Camnet TV, and we have now been privileged and we have been joined by Mr. Michael Chuzu, who is the Special Assistant Mobilization at the Secretary General's Office in the United Party for National Development, UPND. And as we did promise yesterday, Mr. Chuzu was going to be here to discuss issues surrounding the CDF and the move by the Office of the Secretary General to be monitoring and inspecting the CDF projects around the country. Mr. Chuzu, I'd like to thank you very much for making it to Camnet TV. Welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much, and I should thank you for inviting us to discuss what has made us, the SG office, particularly the SG, to move up and down in the constituencies, mainly to go and look how these CDF are being implemented. So I'm very grateful that at least the nation should know, because there's been this thing fighting why the SG is undermining. So we want to explain about that. Thank you very much.
Now, let's quickly get into it. We have had several stakeholders that have complained about the decision by the SG, your office, to start going around the country to monitor CDF-funded projects. What is your quick reaction to these critics?
They don't know how UPND operates. That's the reason why they are talking about that. But first of all, I think, let me just tell you, let me just give you how UPND is and how they operate. UPND is a well-disciplined party. Now, to form a party, you must have something that you must consolidate your party. And the first and most important, when you form up a party, you must come together. How are you going to govern your party? And when you look at that, how you are going to govern your party, is when you go and form what we call constitution of the party. That the members who are in the party, they have to follow. And the way how to run the party, that's the first thing you have to do. So constitution of the party is very cardinal for any party to be strong enough, Because you cannot form a party without a constitution, which means you don't know what you want to do. Then when you have done that, you must also, what is it that you want to do as a party? Because once you form a party, you have got something that you want to achieve at the end of the day or at the end of the thing. So you come with this what we call manifesto. Then the manifesto, this is what we have in UPND. This manifesto is very, very important. The manifesto, once you form it, is when you look at issues. What is it that you stand for as you go, as you are also vying to govern the country? What do you want to go and sell to people? What is it that you can convince the people that this party can govern the country? That is very important. So when you go and make this what we call manifesto, is where you put your ingredients in order to go and sell to the people. So these, you may say, one, we are going to improve hospital facilities. We are going to improve the education system. We are going to make sure that as UPND is going to govern, we are going to make sure that the education is going to be free. We are going to improve the road infrastructures. We are going to improve the lives of people, agriculture, and all that things you itemize in your manifesto. When you finish that, then not only that, you have to move at the same time. There is what we call the governing body of the party. The governing board of the party is the part which makes the constitution itself, and it is the governing body of the party which looks also whether that manifesto which that body has made is important or not important. And this body is called, as UPND, National Management Committee. It's whereby the brains comes together and they put their heads together. Once they put these things together, then we have said, okay, at the same time, this is what we call shadow cabinet or shadow organization, whereby a committee which is ready to govern the country, which is ready. So we are going to run the affairs of the country. That's the way we run as UPND. Now, I have explained this so that the viewers, the Zambians, the country should understand how the UPND is run. There is no shortcut. That's why most of the parties fail to run or to govern their own party. You are going to find people, this one is quarreling that, and that, because this is the system where the party is. Then now, when we are ready, we know ourselves now, now we go to the people. We go to the Zambians and start selling our manifesto. But how do we sell our manifesto? We go and talk to people. This is what we have. Then at the same time, before that, we looked at individuals who can be the president of this party, which has got the constitution, which has got the manifesto, which have got the national management, the shadow cabinet. After making those things now, we sit down. Who is capable? Who can be the president of this party? We sit as the national management, where even the members of UPND, then later on, we sit and choose who is the capable president. I'm happy, gladly so, and proudly so, mentioned that this party was founded by the people who knew what they wanted to do. First of all, we had our first president, who was Anderson Kambira Mazola, and these people, may his soul rest in peace. He had put the foundation of this party. And that's why this party is so solid, so solid. No one can shake it. And that's why now, because of the consistency, how we are, how we have built up the party, no one can shake UPND at this moment in time. So after that, now we sell our manifesto. Now, by the way, this manifesto comes with the party. It is the party which produces the manifesto. And this is the manifesto which sells to the people. And when we sell to the people, at that time now, what we do now, we said, okay, fine, this is the manifesto. Then we look to the people that we sponsor. We look at the president, sponsored by the party. We look at the MPs, sponsored by the party. We look at the councillors, mayors, council chairman, and all these people, they are being sponsored by the party so-called UPND. Now, the scenario, the way I've explained now, we are saying, gentlemen, we are ready. We have got the people now, we have put the president, MPs, and the chairman and so forth. Let's go. And we go. And when we go, for example, as we are talking now, we are in government, UPND, with our chief commander, Hakainde Hichilema, and with his government, and with his ministers, MPs, councillors, we have formed the government.
I love the way you have explained how the UPND functions.
Yes.
CDF, however, is not a UPND matter. This is a national matter.
Very good.
Explain to me how the party feels, your office, the SG's office, feels it's important for the office itself to be monitoring these projects.
Yes. This is the thing you have to understand. I was explaining that the party has sponsored the people. Hakainde Hichilema is our president. Now we are calling him Republican President, HH. The president himself, he looks at what did we promise to people? Then he tells us that now what we are going to do is this. The money used to be staying in Lusaka. And the people in the villages and other areas, we are not seeing the money. So what we are going to do now, we are going to take the money from Lusaka and take it to Kalao. Take the money to Chama. Take the money to Singongo. Take the money to Namwara. To all these constituencies, 156 constituencies. Now, these are the people, we have got people, MPs. Gary Nkombo takes the rule, says, okay, fine. The president has made a decision. And my office is the office which is going to give money to the constituencies. Now, this is the project. This is the manifesto. Mind you, Zambians gave us a mandate as UPND in government now to say on in August 2021, they gave us a mandate. Can you rule this country as UPND? So we have been given a mandate by the people of Zambia. Zambians have given us a mandate as UPND. And we have got what we call secretariat. Mind you, you have to know that the SG is the chief executive of the party. The running of the affairs of the party. At the same time, he knows who is the MP, who does what and what. So in his office, he has got the manifesto here. In his office, which is the president of the Republic of Zambia, HH, also looks at it. Here, the time when we are campaigning, we are saying 10 points plan as UPND. Now, running this, then the Minister of Local Government, Gary Nkombo, comes with this document. Come with this document. This document is a guideline of CDF. Goes in the what? In the rural areas. Now, as these funds going on, mind you, CDF is, to us as UPND, we are saying it's a game changer for Zambia. Game changer. Completely. Game changer. We want people to see their own money working to where Zambian stays. So this is the money which is going to the rural areas. Now you are asking the question, why is the SG moving, trotting around for the journey. I've told you SG is the chief executive of the party. My president has made a decision that money should go to the people. The MPs, they've been told, we are giving you money. We started with 25.3. And now we are talking about 28.3 million. It's not a small money. It used to be 1.9 million with the PF, which was nothing. But this is the man who loves Zambians, and he knows that this is the way we are going to spend money. It has to go downwards. We have got an MP there. We have got what we call, we have got the councillors, we have got the council, we have got everybody there. Now, to us we are saying, yes, job well done, my president. Job well done, Karin Kombo. Where is the money? The money has gone to the council. Do we see how the money is being spent at the council? We have got what we call CDF committee. Is it true that the money is going to the ward? We have got what we call ward development committee, whereby the ward development committee are the people who are seeing the problems in the ward, not in the constituency first. It has gone a little bit further to the wards. The wards, they say, okay, the school there is damaged. It was blown off. Here we don't have the roads. Now, the council is a custodian looking at the funds of CDF to make sure that, and at the same time, in the council, there are engineers, there are what and what, to make sure that whatever they are going to do, that should come from the council, because the council are there direct to the people. Now, do we see this money going from the district up to the ward, up to the constituents? Now, the SG takes an interest. He said, oh no, is it good for me to remain seated in the office? And he'll be told that, yes, the CDF is where is being done in the constituency, and in the wards it's happening, and somebody doesn't know what is happening. No, UPND, I want to tell you, UPND, the chief executive, Imenda, Batuke Imenda, who is in charge of the secretariat, who is in charge, every MP is answerable. There are two people that he does the answer report. The president, the MP is answerable to the president. The MP is answerable to the secretary general. It is the secretary general who sits down at one time or another to take somebody to the constituency. Now, we want to say, okay, fine, we have got these things is done. And the Secretary General want him to be sleeping in the office so that he doesn't know what the MP is doing. Whether that money which the President said, even Gary Kombo said, is not being utilized. No. Is it true that the President has made a decree that by December, no pupil will be sitting on the floor? That is a pronouncement. And that is what it is in the our manifesto. This thing, it is in my office and in the office of the Secretary General who says, choose you in the mobilization. Because we talk about this. People do ask us. People, they used to say, Hakainde has even failed to build the toilet. But go now and see what's happening in the schools. Flat toilet, right up with typical rural areas in Nangombe. Freshing, water is there, electricity is there. In a rural area, that's what Hakainde has declared. Now, us, the president has said this, as a party, do we want me to be then sitting? Can Hakainde sure go to Shangombe? Can Hakainde sure go to, you want him to be trotting all over? He has good soldiers. We are the soldiers.
You have showed me two documents.
Yes.
Your manifesto.
Yes.
And the CDF guidelines.
Yes.
In this case, as regards monitoring and implementation of CDF,
yes.
What document are we going to follow? Is it your manifesto or the CDF guidelines? And if we follow the CDF guidelines, is there anywhere where it says the SG of the party should be monitoring this project.
Don't worry about writings here. We are talking about the responsibilities.
So we should forgo the CDF guidelines.
Please, we have been given. Is there anywhere Zambians have given us a mandate, Bwana, to run this country? Mandate.
No, but the mandate is
listen, the mandate that we have been given by the government is, can you govern this country? Is the SG not part and parcel of the governance? I'm asking you. Is the SG not part and parcel of the governance of this country?
No, because...
just answer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is part and parcel of governance.
No, but there's a
if the president says, I want even the chiefs to monitor the projects that we are putting, because projects are done in there. Is there anywhere where are you going to ask the president?
No, but chiefs are part of the DDCCs.
No, it's not. They are not there.
No,
what I'm trying to say here, what we are trying to say is monitoring and seeing. Is it wrong, you? In which word are you?
I'm in Chawama.
Chawama. Sure. Do you see the development which is taking place there? You don't know. Is it wrong for you, Kozi, to go and see whether that building, the school they are building or the clinic is being built there? Is it wrong as a Zambian?
It is actually my responsibility.
Yes. Now what will stop the SG as his responsibility as a Zambian? Mind you, one is a Zambian. Is entitled to see what type of development is taking place. That's it, he's entitled. Even myself, as Michael chose. Myself, I'm staying in the Kapata. Kapata ward. In Chipata Central. I have to, is it true that there's a development? If I go and ask, I'm told, you are my MP, here there is no clinic. The clinic there is what and what. Is it wrong?
No, it's not.
It's not. So when it comes to the SG, because he's wearing the name, I've told you, is the chief executive officer. He is also, he wants to see what his MPs are doing. Is it true that what they discuss in the parliament, the money that they have given, the development which is taking place? So you want the SG just to remain in the office because it's an SG not seeing what is the development is taking place. What are we going to talk in 2026 if we don't see with our own eyes? What are we going to talk? Nothing. Because now we have to talk. Is it true that schools' desks are being bought and are being put in the... Who is going to say yes? Because it is this part again, which is going to stand in 2026, to announce that please, you vote for us, we are going to do A, B, C, D. Now, if you haven't done, whose question are you going to ask? It's yourself.
There's some sections of society that feel that you are undermining the responsibility of these government officers that are mandated by the CDF guidelines to monitor these particular projects. And you have mentioned here that let us forget the CDF guidelines.
It's not the CDF guidelines, it's the committees which are put. Committees. What it is there is that there is what we call a CDF committee, which is on top. From there is what we call W, which is ward development committees. These ward development committees are the one which sees what type of development has to take place there. Our concern as a party, is it true that the money which is meant for the people that the people gave us mandate are benefiting? The question is,
in that process, there are people that feel that you are undermining.
They don't know how UPND works. They want UPND to work like the way UNIP works. They want UPND to work the way MMD was working. They want to work as if the PF were doing their secretary generals. To us, our secretary general must move up and down to see the development which is taking place to the constituencies where his MPs are. That's what we want to work. For the SCGs just to see, is it true that we have given money to Munali, and the Munali MP, does he utilize that money is given? Is there a project which are taking place? Now the SG stands there. He said, yes, I've got an MP there. You want him just because he's a Secretary General. He sits there, Secretary General, seated. Meanwhile, we have got this thing which we have already promised the people to do as a party. So to us, to me, we are not going to stop, because we shall not stop. There is no MP that can come to the Secretary General that you are undermining. Undermining what? Undermining what?
No, but there are other constituencies whose MPs are not UPND.
To us,
when you go down to these constituencies, let's say you are in the which constituency?
Mafinga.
Mafinga.
Yes.
Which is not UPND constituency. Who are your contact persons there? Who do you go to see? And if, especially if the council is also in the opposition?
The council has never been in the opposition. It's a government entity.
No, I mean, but if the council secretary is...
No. The councillor, the council secretary of each and every council is not a member.
The council chairman,
okay.
Those that are voted, the mayors, those that are voted and are sponsored by political parties, and the councillors, majority are from the opposition.
The only problem that we have got in Zambia, we always think that if somebody is in the opposition area and he was voted as a chairman of the council, since he's in the opposition side, he's an opposition. No. He is going to govern the government things. So for him, it's not about being in the opposition, but it's about saving the Zambians who are supposed to be enjoying everything. Akainde cannot stop to sponsor somebody who is in Mafinga, Washingando, Shiwangando. Where Sunday Chanda is. He's doing a very fantastic job. Nyambose, Nichansefu, fantastic job. This in Mafinga, where I went there physically. I went there where Sanda Chanda is physically. I was in Mafinga physically. I was in Chansefu physically. And when I talk about these people, as a person from office of the president, these MPs like Sunday Chanda, whoever is going to vie that place is going to lose. I want to predict that because the development that he has done as a PF member who is working with the government, as he knows what his mandate is not to save the arguments which people are making. Is about to save Zambians. The man in Bwanankubwa, the man in Kamfinsa, the man in where, the man in which I was talking in Mchinga. Some of these opposition MPs are working tremendously, and I want to urge them. You know what to save. Those MPs, I'm telling you, if all these developments, what I have seen with my naked eyes, no one is going to remove them. It will take time to remove it because they are doing what the people want. I drove almost 60 kilometers from the road, many roadways later, 60 kilometers, where Sunday Chanda is building a wonderful 1-by-3 classes. And the teacher who has been just employed is just right up there. You can guess what I saw. Electricity is there. Standard house, just the same like somebody who is in a PHI. Somebody in an IBEX. Electricity, water is there. And is even watching TV. I said, do you feel you are in the bush? He said, no. I'm comfortable here. Now you can imagine that. That's what we want to put to the people under the CDF. CDF is a game changer. It's a pity some of the MPs in the opposition, they don't see this. They want to be seeing arguments. I would have loved this MP from Procoso.
Procoso?
Yes. You know him? He's the leader of opposition in the parliament.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mundubire.
Yes, Mundubire. I would have loved Mundubire to spend most of his arguments, press conferences making him Prokos. I would have loved him. We have been there. We have seen what is happening. He's arguing here, the development there is suffering. They could keep on making press conference here, press conference. Don't go and make a press conference. Pick Camnet people, Camnet reporters and news reporters. Take them to your constituents. Bring them. Say, this is what I've done. This is what I've done. Don't waste time. Every now and then you are per Facebook. Every now and then you are having press conference. People, they want the development. The CDF is there. I'm very sad. I'm very sad. I have to mention it. You know, the council here in Lusaka, they are not doing well. The MPs for Munali is crying. The MP for Kanyama is crying. But what is wrong? The money is there, maybe because they have got 7 constituencies and it's difficult to manage. That's why people in Lusaka, they even say, we don't know how CDF is working here. Because MPs, even MPs are crying. To us, Bwana, when we move with the ACG, do you know what we do? We call the district commissioner, who are eyes and ears of the government. We call the council chairman. We call the secretary general. Call the even stakeholders. The police are there. So we asked, can you give us whatever you have been doing? Then they give us. They give us the reports. Such a report like this one is from Mitete. Mitete. Right up in Irukuru. We have got Kalao, whatever. I've got a bunch of these. So we see how they bought this thing, how is there. So when we see, we ask the council, say, we don't even interfere. You see, they even congratulate, thank you very much for what you have done to us. We have wakened up. Now you can appreciate it. And our job as the office of the secretary is not to go and, no one has ever said, the Secretary General came here to interfere and even to intimidate us. They even feel more happier. I'll give you one case. Why we go and see those things? We went to Mkush. They gave us the list here. I can show you. They gave us. So we said, okay. They told us, this thing, it is at the syllab level. Oh, it is at syllab level. I said, good. So why is it at syllab level? For how long has it been on the syllab level? So we said, no, because I think sooner or later to start. So let's go and see. We went there, Bwana. What did we see? We saw that that class, that clinic, it was at roof level. The report says it is at syllab level. But the work there, the contractor has done the work at roof level. What would you guess? What did you tell?
There was no monitoring.
Very good. There was no monitoring. And the DC, the council secretary, and that, we are shocked. So we said, but have you said this is finishing? Because some of these things are time, they have got time frame, 6 months, 4 months. And they are finished. Now, if all these things, how many work is it going to finish in that way? People are not going there. By the time, even those vehicles which are written CDF, we reached a certain place. Have you been there? No, we haven't. And yet those vehicles, they have been there almost 2 months now. 2 months on the line. So to us, when we go there and see them, we make people wake up. Wake up, wake up. We are in a hurry to develop this country. My dear, Hakainde, once he put his shirt, his sleeves like this, is in a hurry. Bwana is in a hurry. The gentleman there at the State House is in a hurry to change this country for the better.
You are watching Camnet Lunchtime Cafe, and we do have Mr. Michael Chuzu, who is the Special Assistant for Mobilization in the UPND's Secretary General's office. and we are discussing issues to do with the monitoring of CDF around the country. So you can call us on the numbers that are on your screens if you have any questions and contributions on this particular topic. You can call us on the numbers that are appearing on your TV screens. Now, the issue of monitoring, you have mentioned that you are impressed with Honorable Tanda in his constituencies. Yes. Doing very well. You mentioned Mafinga, you yes. mentioned various other constituencies.
Nyambozi?
Chasefuya.
Yes.
Take us through your journey into these constituencies. Which constituencies impressed and which constituencies disappointed as regards the utilization of CDF?
We are very responsible. I cannot come here and say you are doing bad, you are doing bad. Some because of the process, they're too slow. Other MPs, they don't want to work the way they want to work. Others, you can imagine, the same 28 million, 0.3, the way how other constituencies have worked as if they've been given almost more than 50 million. The same money. The other MPs are still having 2 to 3 projects. Or what I can say, I've got the details here. We have been reading that completed. We don't want to demonize certain individuals for the work that you said I should come and say, no, that MP is not doing what, that was, no. All MPs are hardworking. It's only the way how they understand the speed of this thing. So for us as a party, we go to them and tell them, Baba, what we have to know is chamongani, mchangamuke, ayanwa changamuka, uku vintu vuchitika, ngamwe ubwanyi vintu vuchitika lini. What's wrong with you? You see, it's very funny. We went to a certain school, certain area in Chinsali. One of our colleagues, MP, he went there to say, you see, I have done this, I've done this, I've done this. Do you know the money, where the money came from? It was the former president who gave me the money that I have worked for this. So I said, we are talking about CDF. We don't know about that. The money came from ECL. So they said, oh, yes. Is that what you are told? Yes. And he's still working. He's still working in Chisali, where we were, in one of the constituencies in Chisali. So he said, oh. So we said, no. Mama, listen. The government is there of HH. You have been given that money in order to improve the school. And he said, I'll give you a very good example. When we went to Nalikwanda, there is a short MP called Fufu. Fufu means small anymore. So himself is a Fufu. So we went to Nalikwanda. We found a very beautiful school, secondary school. Now, the first I said, how many pupils are here? The headmaster was saying, the time when this school, it was only 200 learners, 200. But now, with the pronunciation of the president that the school is free, now we have got 400 learners. Nalikwanda Secondary School. And what we have tried, one of the classroom, we have made it to be a boarding, to be a dormitory. Now, have you seen how these things are related? Because we promise in our manifesto that the school is going to be free. Now, if ourselves we did not go and witness ourselves, which is the way how pupils is full. The president has said by December, every pupil should be on the desk. We were there, said, why didn't you buy desk? Others said, no, we have bought 6,000. We are remaining about 3,000. By the time of December, we are going to be. It is true. It is happening. Others, they are behind. But others are very fast. We went to a certain constituency, whereby when we went there, we are told 2 three words, they have never received CDF. 3 words in Western Province. 3 words. They haven't yet received any CDF. We ask them why. No, the submission is not there. What is that? There is no school there. There is no clinic there. Do they have all clinics there? Are schools there? So they can no. The ward committee are not giving us what they want. When we were in Western Province, you know, Western Province, there are the people who look after animals. They have got a lot of animals. But the challenge which we found there is that not even a single constituency that they asked for a DP tank. A DP tank said, but people are keeping animals here. Then we went to a certain place whereby stealing is at a high level. We are asking the police officer, whom we started to guard, where we go, we even ask, we bring the officers from agriculture, what and what, we sit together to listen to them. Is it true that the CDF, they do cut the Minister of Health, Minister of Education, Minister of Labor, Minister of Health, all these ministries? Because that money doesn't belong only to Minister of Education or Minister of Health. No, it might, all the ministries. We are talking. And officers now we are talking. As they are planning, they don't even call us. And that one was DACO. DACO was saying, for us, in order for agriculture to move, we need the Kampuchani officers. But we don't have houses there. But we were building houses for nurses. But camp officers, which is very cardinal again in agriculture, we were telling the CDF committee, please, can you look into this? Then at the same time, we are looking to the minister. There was also another minister of the Dolini minister, whereby they need to sensitize people how to access the money for disadvantaged people. They didn't know it's far. The officer cannot move that far end. We need to put a house there so that people can benefit all these some things which are the government are making.
But why won't the officer move to those far-flung areas? Is not catered for in your manifesto on how you'll be moving?
What we have said, even we have told the CDF, sir, are you able to look for the transport for the police officers? Because we cannot allow, you know, was it day before yesterday or yesterday? The president was saying, we must deal with the cattle restaurants. Those key people who steal animals, we must deal with them. We can only couple that. At the same time, we must make sure that the police, they have got vehicles, they have got everything. We put even police posts there, and that can be done by CDF. So these are the things that we are looking into, Ban. And if we can do that, I'm telling you, this country, 5 years to go now, I'm telling you, there will be schools, there will be health posts, there will be even officers, camp officers, they will have their homes. Because the way we are doing things now, that's why the office of the Secretary General moves. They gave us a mandate. And it is that mandate that Zambian gave us. We are looking with whether this money is properly used. We are not going to allow you, when you go to Sikongo, it's painful. 2015, houses were abandoned. 20 houses abandoned. The council, a civic center abandoned, just on the syrup level. 2015, up to now. We ask, what happens? The contractor got the money and disappeared. No one is following them. It is only now that Garin Combo is following some other things. Now you can imagine that. Syllab level, somebody gets the money, it just disappears. A Zambian, for that matter. Some Zambians are terrible, my dear. They are there to kill others. And we cannot allow that. You cannot go and steal people's money. And when they want to follow you, persecution. When they follow you because you are from Eastern Province, where choose who comes, these people are selective. No, you were there. If you were there, they will follow you because you were there.
Pambasha Member of Parliament Ronald Chitentala recently did mention that UPND members are delaying these CDF projects, in that when you give a project to a contractor and that particular contractor, you leave out UPND members, they will come and petition and waste time.
You see, I'll agree one way or another. Huh? In some, it's not in that way. It's on merit. I would totally agree. What is happening even, by the way, what you have to know is this. From 2011 to 2021, who were those people? Who are these people who are there? You know. From 2011 to 2021, who were there? All officers. Some officers were employed by PF. Now, some of them, my members, it's just the anger. And I want to thank my president, Hakainde Hichilema, the patience that he has done to the Zambians and to this to Zambian people. If Hakainde, he was the way other people were, how many people were going to be sacked? Because they were going to say, no, this one is PF, get out. This one is PF, get out. This one is PF, get out. Some people are there deliberately to slow up the things the way they are moving. And so these things to move faster, they are not. You ask him, why are you doing this? I'll give you an example. I was talking to one of the procurement officer from Eastern Province. I called him at around 07:45. I called him. I kept on calling him. Then later on, he sent a message to me. Please call me after 8. A civil servant. Hakainde reports work at 06:30. I want to assure you. Hakainde starts working at 06:30. He has started waking up and is working. Somebody, civil servant, said, call me. 07:45, 08. I said, oh. So later on I waited. I said, are you sure? Now, what I wanted, listen, commitment. You must be committed to duty. The reason why I was phoning him is that we are told you are buying Caterpillar and you are here in Lusaka looking for caterpillars. And there are some things that you want to get contractors from Lusaka to go and work in that Eastern Province. I'm talking about Eastern Province. So I said, later on I talked to him. To you, madam, is that the way we are going to work? Stop doing that. Can you develop up the culture of working? Sometimes, for example, I'll give you an example. You come here very early. 06 you are here. 05 you are here. But somebody, you are not in government. You are working in a private company. You are coming here at 05 to make sure that the radio station is on. A government employee who is working for the people of Zambia cannot go in the office at 08:45. Because him, when he was there, he has to report at 8 hours. Is that a good culture? So these are the things. So to answer your problem about the person, the UPND, no. It is the culture who has been there. Some people are being frustrated by the culture of work. I don't care. I don't care attitude. But now we want to remove that. We want to thank the president. Because a president should be able to look at every angle, all opposition, everyone in the ruling party, all of them is his child. But that person cannot be punished. He has said it and I'm saying it. If you are not going to copy the way you are working, the way we want, you will go. I've taken enough to study you. He has mentioned that, my president. And some people in the other councils are still behaving the same. Yesterday, Gary Nkombo agreed. He was on a Sunday interview with his ZMBC. He said, I do admit, in some people in the council, they are not doing the right thing. They are corrupt. Where did the corruption come from? And what are we talking about? So when you see other people are angry, yes, I was in one constituency, one contractor getting about 6 words. Is that normal? One contractor getting in 6 words, or even in 2 words, because the guideline here says a person who should be given a contract is within the same constituency. Let them get. Why should somebody comes from Petauke to go and get a job in Isinda? Why? Nichifukwa. Nangamona change. Mulibeba nanga chitigwire nchito ya bwino. By the way, this government is training people in carpentry, bricklaying, and everybody within the CDF, so that we don't import people to go and do a job in a certain constituency.
As we come to the end of this interview, Mr. Chuzu, what are your concluding remarks?
My concluding remark is like this. Please, all honorables, MPs, if you want to be retained in 2026, the only better thing you can do, use CDF. By putting all these development, no one is going to shake you. But if you are not going to do that, 2026 you will go. Because the people will not see whatever you are doing. No matter you have got a bad language, you have got a bad... If you are going to do better for the development, they retain you. So Zambians, I'm even asking Zambians, please Zambians, go, whoever is doing a project in your constituency, on your ward, go and ask where are you coming from and who are you? And the chiefs, headmen, you must know who are those people doing that contract. Because we want the money to be within the constituency, so that the money should flourish within the same constituency or ward.
Mr. Chuzu, would like to thank you very much for making an appearance.
But the last word, we are not stopping moving up and down. The Secretary General will move from one constituency to another until we finish. We are not going to get tired. Zambians, they gave us a mandate, and we have to do that.
That is the United Party for National Development, UPND Special Assistant for Mobilization in this Secretary General's office, Mr. Michael Chuzu, who was talking to us as regards CDF and the monitoring and implementation of the same. On that note, we come to the end of today's program. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow as we bring to you another exciting program. On behalf of the entire production team, have a blessed afternoon.